Sometimes the most painful silence is found in the most intense places, but when someone recognizes it, everything changes. The streets of Los Angeles were alive with flashing lights, people rushing to their destinations, completely immersed in their own lives. No one looked at each other, no one really cared. Life had become too busy and selfish for people. But that day, during a simple walk, Keanu Reeves noticed someone that nobody else noticed. An old man was standing in front of a small grocery store. He was frail, wearing a faded, worn jacket. His hands trembled slightly as he gripped his cane, obviously ill. His face was lined with lines of fatigue, but what struck Keanu the most was the emptiness in his eyes. This man was Walter. Keanu stopped and watched in silence as Walter approached the clerk. Their conversation was quiet, as if Walter was ashamed to speak. The clerk sighed, nodded, and handed the old man a plastic bag containing a few pieces of bread and some ripe fruit. Walter grasped the bag with both hands and nodded gratefully, but there was the weight of years of hardship and loneliness in his voice. He had a problem, and Keanu wanted to solve it. There was something about this scene that made Keanu uneasy. Perhaps a man who had spent his life working should not have to rely on scraps of food to survive, yet everyone around him ignored this struggle. Loneliness isn't just having no one to talk to. True loneliness is being forgotten. Keanu and Walter sat in a cozy little cafe. As Keanu placed a warm cup of coffee in front of him, Walter hesitated for a moment before gently wrapping his hands around it. A small, almost nostalgic smile appeared on his face. "You know, it's been a long time since someone bought me anything." Keanu nodded, watching him closely. "Why have you been living alone all this time? Don't you have anyone?" The next day, Keanu passed the same shop again. Walter was there once again, looking even thinner. Inside, the same clerk sighed apologetically. "I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing extra today. I can't help you." Walter bowed his head, his voice barely audible. "I see. Maybe tomorrow? I'll go to bed tonight, but if I go to bed hungry tomorrow, I might die." Keanu felt a pang in his chest. No one should have to wait like this just for a meal. As the old man slowly walked away, Keanu took a deep breath and took a step forward. "Sir, can I buy you a coffee?" Walter turned his head towards the voice. His expression was a mixture of surprise and hesitation. He studied Keanu, not sure if he recognized him. Then a faint smile appeared on his lips, full of both gratitude and sadness. "I guess I can't refuse, son." And just like that, a bond of friendship was forged that would change a lonely man's life forever. Walter remained silent, as if searching for the right words. It was clear that answering meant confronting painful memories. Finally, he let out a deep breath. "I have 2 children, or at least I did. They used to call. My son even used to send me money every month, but I haven't heard anything for a while. If I die, he won't even know?" Keanu's brow furrowed slightly. "When was the last time you spoke to your son?" Walter took a sip of his coffee and lowered his gaze. "About a year ago. First he made excuses, said he was busy with work, then he stopped answering my calls." Keanu had a bad feeling. How could someone abandon their own father like that? "Have you checked your bank account? Do you know if the money is still there?" Walter's face changed. "I haven't checked for a long time. My son opened an online banking account for me. He said he would take care of my bills. But now I can't reach him and I have no idea what happened." Keanu paused. The sense of unease in him intensified. "Walter, we need to find out what happened to your account. We need to go to the bank tomorrow." The old man looked at Keanu for a long moment, his expression filled with gratitude but also fear. Because if the money was really gone, he would be left with nothing. But Keanu couldn't let it go. His sense of justice demanded answers. Tomorrow they would reveal the truth, and it would change Walter's life forever. Sometimes the deepest betrayal comes from those closest to us, and in that moment, our world changes forever. The next morning, Keanu and Walter stood in front of the bank. Walter's hands were shaking slightly, gripping his cane tighter than ever. Keanu looked at him, noticing more than fear in his eyes. There was heartbreak. "Keanu, if my money is really gone, I don't want to suspect my own son. Maybe something else happened. Please let someone else steal my money." Keanu tilted his head slightly, choosing his words carefully. Sometimes the truth we refuse to see is right in front of us, but we can't change anything without knowing it. Walter took a deep breath and nodded. They went inside together. The bank clerk was typing something on the computer, his expression changing as he scanned the records. His brow furrowed, and after a few seconds he looked up. "Mr. Walter, large sums of money have been withdrawn from your account on a regular basis, a total of $45,000 in the last 6 months. Walter's eyes widened. He gripped the table tighter as he tried to steady himself, so close to falling to the floor. This is impossible. Your account is linked to a joint account under your son's name. Most of the money has been transferred there." Keanu clenched his fists as Walter's face lost all color. "My son, how could he have done this to me?" The silence in the bank was deafening. It wasn't just about the stolen money. It was about a father realizing that his child had abandoned him for greed. Keanu exhaled slowly, his voice steady but determined. "Walter, we must fight to get your money back." But Walter shook his head and looked away. "But he's my son. I can't turn him in." Keanu took a deep breath, his eyes full of understanding and determination. "Walter, he has already abandoned you. Should his betrayal go unpunished just because of a title?" Walter lowered his gaze, his inner battle written all over his face. Keanu placed a reassuring hand on Walter's shoulder. "You have forgotten your own worth, Walter, but I am here to remind you." And so a lonely man had to make a decision that would change the course of his life forever. The truth can be a heavy burden, but justice always comes with a price. Despite Walter's hesitation, Keanu hired a lawyer. The elderly man was still uncertain. "Let's say we go through with this. What if my son goes to jail?" Keanu met his gaze, his voice calm but firm. "Then maybe it will be a chance for him to understand the consequences of his actions." The bank records were undeniable. Walter's son had drained his father's savings to fund a luxurious lifestyle. But the biggest shock came later that night when a loud knock echoed through Walter's small apartment. When Walter opened the door, he found his son standing there, his face red with anger. "Dad, you're suing me? I'm your son!" Keanu immediately stepped forward, his sharp gaze locked onto the young man. "If you were truly his son, you wouldn't have left him starving." The young man's fists clenched as he shouted, "Who the hell do you think you are?" Keanu didn't flinch. His voice remained steady. "Someone who stood by your father when you didn't." Walter's son shifted uncomfortably, his voice losing its confidence. I needed the money." Walter took a deep breath, his voice weary but resolute. "And I needed you. But you chose to abandon me." For a brief moment, his son's expression wavered. Then, without another word, he turned and walked away. Keanu placed a reassuring hand on Walter's shoulder. "You're not alone anymore." And that night, the first step toward justice was taken. Respect is something that must be earned, and Keanu Reeves ensured that a man got the respect he deserved. After the lawsuit was filed, Walter's son vanished, refusing to answer calls, avoiding all legal notices, but he couldn't escape the truth forever. Keanu sat beside Walter in the days leading up to the trial, watching the old man struggle with his emotions. "Am I really doing the right thing, Keanu? He's still my son." Keanu sighed, understanding the pain in Walter's heart. A son wouldn't do this to his own father. The court date arrived, and Walter's son stood before the judge, attempting to deny everything. "My father agreed to let me use the money. I didn't steal anything." But the bank records told a different story. His son had drained Walter's entire life savings, spending it on expensive cars, vacations, and a lifestyle his father had never known. Walter's eyes filled with tears, but this time, he refused to stay silent. The judge delivered the verdict. Walter's money would be fully returned, and his son would be prosecuted for fraud. Outside the courtroom, Walter hesitated for a moment, looking at his son from across the room. But he said nothing. Instead, he turned to Keanu. "Is it over?" Keanu smiled. "It's over, and you're no longer alone." Walter exhaled deeply, and for the first time in a long while, a peaceful smile appeared on his face. "I thought I was alone, but I was wrong." That day, it wasn't just Walter who found justice. It was every elderly person who had ever been forgotten. Blast off.